Regular board meeting of trustees for Tuesday, January 22nd. Let the record reflect it is 6:48. If you call the roll.
Trustee Muhammad.
Here.
Stubbs.
Here.
House.
Here.
Denton.
Present.
Pearson.
Here.
Henyard.
Present.
Let the record reflect we have a quorum. All members of the board are here. Our regular village clerk is absent tonight, and our village attorney will be absent tonight. If everyone will stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, if you can remain standing, Elder Creighton, if you'd like to lead us in prayer tonight.
Every head is bowed and every eye is closed. Our Father and our God, we come before you once again just to say thank you for the opportunity just to see another day.
Yes.
We ask, Father God, that you would bless the mayor, trustees, and all the department heads that are in charge of this great village. We pray now, God, that you would take over this meeting, lead and guide the way you would have it to go.
Yes.
And we'd be so careful to give your name all the praise, all the honor, and all the glory. And all God's people said, amen.
Amen.
Okay, next thing on the agenda is a presentation by Mr. Raul Castaneda. Yep. Okay, from Everett's Restaurant.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I have some paperwork, if you don't mind if I pass it out to you. Mr. Pierce. Thank you, sir. How are you?
Thank you.
Hi.
Hi.
There.
Thank you.
As Mayor Riley Rogers said, that my name is Raul Castaneda. I'm from Everett's. I opened up there approximately 9 months ago. I took an old abandoned building and made it into somewhat suitable right now. We're working on the outside for next year, but the whole inside's redone. It was the old Dairy Queen building. I've went from a big restaurant in Cal City, Tilly's, to a hot dog, hamburger, beef stand in Dolton, and in Thornton, we're getting ready to open up a diner. I was sitting back thinking, I've been to 3 meetings. In 3 meetings, I've heard money, 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 and which we all know every city needs. So I started thinking, I have a big place. I wanted to put some games in there. So I sent out an email to 6 of the trustees, and got responded to by 3. I wanted to get responded to by all 6. The 3 that responded to me know who they are. The 3 that didn't know who they are. I came by several times just to see what we needed, see what the town needed. Sidewalks, tree trimming, abandoned houses to be fixed. I heard it all on the news. I see a lot of stuff every day. I'm here 7 days a week, 8 a.m., 10 p.m., Tuesday through Sunday. 3 days a week, or 2 days a week, I'm here until 12 a.m. from 8 a.m. and opening up another place. People told me I wasn't going to make it in Dolton. I proved them wrong. I'm here to stay. I bought the building. I got tricked. Didn't have any kind of inspection, didn't know anything about it. But I bought the building, rehabbed it, did everything I needed to do. Passed all my inspections. Now I'm coming to you. I'm coming to you to ask for help. I helped out the village, brought a patio for kids to come on after school, somewhere safe for them to go. I've had in the summertime, families come in and say, we have no air. Sit down. I feed people. They don't have money. They come in, I'm hungry. I feed them. I'm not looking for anything. I said I wasn't that business owner that wanted to make $1 million a year, and I truly believe it. If you want to be a good business owner, you want to make money, it takes time. I didn't come here for me. I came here for my family and your family. This city is your family. That's what I look at. I brought it into my family. People where I'm at, the people that come in by me, they know. They know they can come to Raul. Now, they can't come there and say, hey, I need $20, because I'm not going to give it to you. You want to work? I'll give you a job. I've had 13 employees in 9 months. A total loss of $22,000. I said, okay. Didn't call the police. People get what they give out. I know this. I had a partner take over $20,000 from me. He's no longer a partner. He was on my books. He was on my bank account. Nothing I can do. I took the loss. I didn't get bitter. I didn't try to get revenge. Does any of the trustees know what Everett's did November 23rd to December 24th? Anybody? Nobody goes on Facebook here? I'm going to tell you what we did. And again, this was only 5 months or 6 months into it. For a family that I brought to me and I came to you, I gave away $100 a day in gift cards, $3,000 for that month in gift cards for GFS, Target, Walmart, my Kohl's. And then the day before Thanksgiving, I gave away a $500 gift card. The day before Christmas, 2 days before Christmas, on the 23rd, I gave away another $500 gift card. We pulled a name, they wrote it down. You can walk in the door, put your name down, didn't have to buy anything. This is what I did for the community. Now I'm asking the community, which is the board, a trustee, a mayor, you're responsible for the community. I've heard it all. I've heard it all. Don't do it. Don't go and ask. I've talked to 1,000 people already. Don't do it. Don't go ask them. They're going to jump all over you. I'm here. People can jump on me. It's fine. But I'm asking for a pour license for my restaurant. I'm not asking to serve liquor. That's not what I'm asking. I'm asking for a license. I'm asking for a piece of paper with a signature on there, and I'll put the beer at $12. I don't like alcohol. But unfortunately, to get games, the state requires you to have a pour license. Why? I don't know. I think that's contradicting. You're telling me that you want people to drink so they gamble. I'd rather you be sober and come in and gamble. I go to machines. I gamble. I'm not going to say I win. I'm not going to say I lose. But I don't spend beyond my means. So I started looking at the sidewalks, the trees, and then I started pulling up these right here. If we go to Dolton, they made in 1 year $181,000. That's how much the city took in. $181,000 plus dollars, where that went for other things that the city needed. Let's go to Cal City. Oh, we'll go back to Dolton real fast. They have 13 establishments. Cal City has 21 establishments and made almost $100,000 more. for 8 more establishments. Cal City is a little bigger than this city. Okay, a lot bigger, Mr. Pearson. A lot bigger it is. I was there for 3 years. I brought in a lot of people, a lot of times, a lot of money. Now, we're not just talking about 23 establishments. We're not talking about 13. We're talking about bare license. How much do you guys charge? $250? Or for a pour license, $250, $500? Pour license. Let's go to Thornton. 2 establishments, $28,000. Off of 2, we're going to bring them more in there. I know everybody said the residents, they don't want a lot of bars, a lot of casinos. I can understand the bars. I'm not gonna say anything about that. But if you have somebody like me that's changed things for the better, why not give somebody like me a chance? Why not say, you know what? He has done this. Everybody here has seen my place. They know what it looks like. They know what it looked like. I have pictures from last February till today. It's not about the money I spent, because I didn't have it. I went out and got loans. I have loans to pay back. I went out and had family help me. I have family to pay back. But if we say we're a family and we need money, guess what? I'm your brother. I'm here to help you. We can bring more money in. We can bring a lot more money in. People have told me it was going to get twisted on me. There's nothing that can get twisted about money. Nothing. I've been told, let's have a public hearing. For what? You are the public. Do we all know what the word trustee means? I do, and I know you do. You're a smart board. I've talked to almost every one of you. Almost. And very intelligent. Very intelligent. I'm not trying to get your vote for that by saying that. I know what intelligence is when I see it. And I see it. I see we have arguments. Sure. And I'm going to give an argument. I'm going to give an argument today. I'm going to give an argument at the next board meeting, until my argument's won. Because I believe here that I should get a chance. I should get a chance to say, it's $12 for a glass of beer. But you can come in and eat and gamble if you want. I don't want them to drink. If that's all we're worried about. Gaming's fun. It's fun for adults. I was going to try to put into video games for the kids on the other side. I have a big place. And I think, in perspective, we should all read this. I'll get one for all the citizens. We should all read this and see what we can bring in. We can bring in a lot of money. I see liquor stores with games. That's crazy. It's a liquor store. They're going to go in there, buy a fifth, buy a half gallon, and sit there and drink at a machine where you can have a 2-limit drink. You don't even have to have you don't even have to put it $10, 2 limits, 2 drinks limit. But I don't want them to drink. I know this is going to raise my insurance. I know this. But I'm looking for your help. I'm looking for your help. I have statistics right here with all the money they're bringing in. And I started to think about it. Cal City is probably just a quarter bigger than this city. Riverdale has 3. I had the mayor of Riverdale call me up and say, come with me. I'm not leaving. Either way it goes, I'm not leaving. I'm here to stay. I put everything I worked for into this place. I worked a lot of years. I was an executive chef for 30. I worked a long time. Just for this. Just for this. We don't have to vote today. I didn't ask that. I wanted you to hear me. I want you to come and see what I have to offer. I want you to come to see what I can give the community. We're not afraid to come and see. You've been to my place right before I opened. She gave me advice. At first, I didn't listen. You know why I didn't listen? I came from a place that was making $6.5 million a year. What can anybody tell me? But she was right. I'm sure she knows what I'm talking about. She was right. My very first day there, the day before grand opening, they busted out all my windows. You know how much my windows cost me? $789 each, and I have 8 of them. The day before grand opening. Miss Tiffany said, you should have cameras up. I don't need cameras. What do I need cameras for? I got cameras all around that place. We've had, maybe the chief can go back and look and next meeting can say it. They've used my cameras 3 times to catch 3 different crimes. My cameras. I've been around a long time. A long time. That DVR, if I didn't want to do it, all I have to do is unplug that DVR. I don't have it. But you know what I did? Here you go, detective. Here's my password. Go on and get it. 3 times. They caught 3 different crimes. I wish they would have caught the 4th one. I wouldn't have that problem. But I didn't listen. The day of grand opening, I had ADT out there circling my building with cameras. I don't know if I have 8 or 9, but I have a lot of cameras right now. Not just for me, but for you. For the community. Nobody paid that bill. I did. Not for me, for my family, for my wife and daughter, and the 3 other employees I have there. For safety, I did that. For the community, I did that. You know what they do now when they come by? They see the camera, they look, gone. I have security there 4 nights a week. 4 nights a week. There's nights that I don't even make what I pay security. But you know what? From day one, I've paid security. You know why? Because I listened. We've had 3 robberies on Sibley and the Chinese place on Sibley. It was
Jaywalk.
Jaywalk. Yep. 3 times. 3 times. The nail shop, 3 times. Guess what? Raul's, they didn't come in. Everett's, they didn't come in. That was one that they caught that came through my alley. They got him right on camera. The guy looked straight up at it. Like, oh, guess what, guys? I'm here. Got him. You don't know me. I don't know you. I came here out of the blue, saw a place, took a chance. Now I'm asking for your help. I gave a lot to the community in 9 months. I believe it's time. Just like I said, you're the community. Helps me. Not asking for anything tonight. I'm asking to think. My email, my telephone number, I'm going to say it as follows, and everybody can have it. It is CHEFRAUL 0707 @iCloud.com. The trustees that didn't get back to me, I hope you do. My telephone number is as follows. Personal cell, 312-934-4004. Work phone number is 708-880-0878. If I'm not at the restaurant, I'm in process of opening up the other one. Hopefully it'll be within the week. 10 days the most. But just like I said, I've had other people ask me, bring it over here. I'm not going. I ask that you give me a chance. Hear me out. Come and have lunch. I understand. You don't want me to buy you lunch? I'm not asking for anything. You want to pay for it? Pay for it. I'll buy it for you. Come sit down. Have a glass of water with me. Have a soda with me. Have something with me. Sit down and look at what I'm doing. Look at the space I have. I've had people in my place tonight. Do we know that we have residents that don't have heat on Chicago Road? They're in my place. I have heat. My gas bill is $1,700 a month. My electric bill, this month alone, $1,395, due on February 1st. I can turn my heat down, but I don't. I can make sure it goes off, but I don't. I don't make that. I make it other ways in my heart. I know what I'm doing. It's time that we start thinking. I'm good.
Okay, thank you. I'm not sure if any of the board members want to comment on,
You can ask me anything.
If I can have just a moment, I know I did take an opportunity to come by and see the things that you're doing. The one area that we had, well, two areas we had kind of discussions was on security and making sure that nothing happened that will require additional responsibilities from our police department.
Sure.
Separate, you also were pretty adamant that there would not be, that you were not interested in the pouring license part of it, but it was more for the setup or the ability to have the gaming systems.
Correct.
One thing that I do want to, so while stressing that, I did kind of suggest that we have a presentation in the sense that the community can weigh in, because I think this is a controversial topic. So I thank you for making the presentation and letting the community hear, so that way they can weigh in, and that can weigh more so, I would say, on the board in terms of what we do, because while we do cast the votes, we want to represent what the community wants.
Sure. Understandable.
Hi, and I'm Trustee Stubbs, and I've been to your restaurant. Great tomatoes,
Thank you.
I might add. I do have one question.
Yes.
I see cars on your lot for sale.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that restaurant/car lot, or those your cars?
It is not. I was asked to have them removed, and the guy that has them there, he drives over the road. He'll be back on Wednesday, and he's removing them. They asked me to remove them. I'm removing them.
Okay, I was just curious about
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
How you doing?
Good, Mr. Stubbs.
Hi,
Mr. Pearson.
I'll stop in and see you one day in the next few days.
Sure.
I have some questions for you, concerns of, we have another place that I won't name that turns more into a nightclub at night, and sometimes you could pull up and almost see 100 people and people in the parking lot drinking. I just want to talk with you, sit down, and you're right, I can't take a meal from
Sure.
you, but I can sit down and we could discuss it over a glass of water and talk about it.
Sounds good. Appreciate it.
You brought up the example of these video gaming in other towns and what the revenue they bring in. Some of the towns are actually seeking out locations for video gaming to increase the revenue that comes into the village in their towns. I know Bridgeview has them in gas stations, and many of these places, they sell very little liquor. Initially, when they were approved, liquor was part of this requirement to have the gaming, and some of those locations stock their places with a lot of liquor, expecting people to drink, and they don't drink. So they've kind of toned it down a little bit now, basic wine and beer. The other part is that we had restaurants here in town that had liquor licenses for, in case someone wanted to have a sandwich and have a beer with their sandwich. I know the Village Cafe at one time had a liquor license. Olivia's at one time had a liquor license. I can see where you may want to have an additional source of revenue to help you pay your obligations and to, which would also bring revenue into the village. You mentioned Calumet City. Calumet City is not that much larger than Dolton. It's 33,000 population, and we have right at 24 and a half population. So, but they have decided to open their doors to not only just gaming in some of their liquor establishments, but also to the private video gaming industry, such as Penny's, and I think they have 2 Penny's over there, if I'm not mistaken.
They do.
But it's been proven that if people want to gamble, you're going to find a place to gamble. If it's not here in Dolton and they want to go next door, they're going to go next door, and they're going to, and that town would actually get that revenue. But they have did research on these places. Matter of fact, when gaming first started, it started up in Oregon as a place for housewives to go while their husbands were at work, and whether they spent their husband's money or not, I'm not sure, but at any rate, that's how it all started, and it's transitioned all throughout the United States. But it has not been, with research, has not been any violence associated with those locations. People go in to play the machines, and they come out. Hopefully one of the trustees said he's going to visit you and see what happens. I appreciate your investment here in Dolton. No,
Thanks.
That location was vacant for a long time, and I know you've made a substantial investment there. So I hope you the best of success there.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for
I
coming.
would like to go on record to say that I want to go on to the next agenda for the trustees to think about it, see if I can go on there.
Okay. We can make sure the clerk puts you on the agenda for the next meeting.
Thank you.
Thanks. Next thing on the agenda is the village clerk report. Oh, no, I'm sorry, general announcements.
There are no announcements.
Okay. Village clerk report?
Excuse me,
None?
Mayor, is that where we speak at?
Pardon me?
The general announcements, is that where we speak?
Yeah, or it's your committee reports, either one.
We don't have reports on the second board meeting.
They're on the agenda here.
Oh, okay.
You want to say something? Go ahead.
Good evening, everybody. Thanks for coming out. I know it's super cold. Hopefully this won't last that long. Housing inspector, we're hiring for a diesel mechanic. I'm pretty sure we still need that, and 7 police officers. So I don't know if you guys were at the last board meeting, but those are the jobs that's available here in the village of Dolton. You can go see Angela in HR if anybody is interested. Our number here is 708-849-4000. I just want to put that out there so people know if you live in town, these jobs are available. Thank you.
Mayor, may I be recognized?
Go ahead.
I would just like to ask the trustees, there's a vacancy in the water department, and it's been for quite a few months now. The young lady left to get new employment, and I would like it to go on the agenda for the next meeting to take a vote to hire. Her money is already allocated in the budget. That's it. Thank you.
You got something?
Well, I was going to ask, is that for consensus right now that you're asking, or?
Yes, that would be great.
I'm in agreement.
Anybody else?
Yes. Yes, as long as it doesn't increase the budget, I'm okay.
No, the young lady, she left. She quit.
Okay. I'm in agreement.
So the money is still in the budget.
I'm only in agreements if it's available. I didn't even know it was available, or when the individual left. I thought we was fully staffed over at the water department. I think we need people in housing ASAP, the police officers ASAP, especially that diesel mechanic. But As long as it's there, I'm for it.
Thank you.
Okay, next thing on the agenda is approval of minutes.
There were no minutes, Trustee.
No minutes approved. Any communications?
No, sir.
Engineers report. Mr. Smith, how you doing tonight?
Good evening, everyone. Mayor, Deputy Clerk, trustees, and residents of the Village of Dolton. Just a couple items on my report. One is a grant opportunity from the Metropolitan Mayor's Caucus in conjunction with ComEd Powering Safe Communities Grant. It's a $10,000 grant. It could be used for public works, fire, and the police department. You can apply for solar-powered stop signs, equipment, electronic speed signs, LED school zone signs, backup generators. This is a matching grant, and you can use in-kind services. The grant is online, and it's due March 15th. Let me know if the village is interested in pursuing this grant, and also what the scope you would like to be. Second item I have is an update on the PACE bus shelters, northwest corner of Sibley Boulevard and Chicago Road, right there by the Pepe's. The IDOT permits were signed for a new concrete pad to be put there, and also a new bus shelter. And also on the southeast corner of Chicago Road and Sibley, right in front of the dentist's office, the IDOT permits were signed and submitted, and a new concrete pad will be constructed there and a new bus shelter. And I will keep the board updated on PACE activities and when construction will be slated to start. And I would think that would happen as soon as the weather breaks a little bit. So,
But we need that grant because we need speed signs. We need some.
So you need a consensus, Mr. Smith, tonight? A consensus on that grant, or?
I'm okay. I can just figure out what we're going to apply the grant dollars
Yes,
for.
I
So,
voted
okay.
yes on that.
Consensus, everyone?
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much.
Mr. Smith,
Yes, Mayor.
when are they going to fix the solar panels on, I know the one is out at Chicago Road in front of CVS.
My understanding is that is a temporary shelter. The new one will be coming this spring. Once that new shelter comes, that will be solar panel, that will have the new LED screen, so you'll be able to see when the bus is coming, also the time. So that's just a temporary shelter. So the new one will be coming in the spring, and we're going to have that shelter relocated somewhere else where we're in dire need of another shelter.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Thank you.
Okay, committee reports. Human Services, Trustee Muhammad.
Okay, I have an announcement, not so much a report, but I want to remind the young people you can go on our website, vodolton.org. And Trustee alluded to it earlier. If you click on residents and go to the drill down, as the trustee mentioned, building inspectors available, ASC certified, heavy equipment mechanic. The third one is called job resources, which I want to bring attention to tonight. This has been on there for some months, but it's still available to you. And again, this is for the young people. They are careers. For those who are watching later, you can go on your website, and those here late can also tell young people to go on there. After going to vodolton.org, go to residents, click the drill down and go to job resources. There are job careers available at NBC Television, ABC, CBS, the Chicago Tribune, and WGN Television and radio. And then, of course, the last one on our website is a water meter reader, a part-time water meter reader needing to be hired. So again, those are on our website. I think from what I was told some years ago that the most traveled portion of this website is residents under employment. So it's easy to find. Go to the front page, click residents. On the drill down, you have about 4 or 5 different careers that you can get into. And that's my announcements for Human Services.
Next thing on the agenda is planning. Trustee Hendrick.
Thank you. Just a brief announcement. Free $1 and $5,000 houses program that still exists. We still advocating for those properties currently. It should be available come the first week in April. My number is 708-297-6859. Again, 708-297-6859. If y'all want to give any input or got any suggestions. Thank you.
Next thing is departmental operations. Trustee Stubbs.
Mayor, I don't have a report for this evening.
Next thing on the agenda is Police and Fire, Trustee Pearson.
Yeah, just a brief announcement. There's been a red card that's handed out about people calling in and making, reporting things confidential. I just want to make sure that everybody understands that red card is not the police. If you need the police, call 911, and that's what's going to get the police to you right away. There is a non-emergency number that you can call if you need the police in a non-emergency. So I just don't want residents to get confused that that card that is being handed out is a card to call the police. I'm not saying anything bad about that card. I'm just saying if you need police, call 911. And that's all I have.
Next thing on the agenda is Finance, Trustee Muhammad.
Yes, also I have a announcement, no report, but our finance meeting would have been tomorrow, which is the fourth Wednesday. It's the fourth Wednesday of every month. But there was some internal confusion, so that finance committee meeting will be next Wednesday, which is January 30th. And of course, we'll go over the monthly finance report. That's Wednesday, January 30th at 5 p.m. here at the Village Hall, and it'll be concerning the monthly finance report for the Village of Dolton. That's next Wednesday, January 30th at 5 p.m. right here. Thank you.
Special Events, Trustee Henry.
Excuse me, corporate bills.
Corporate bills only done at the beginning of the month. No corporate bills for second board meeting.
Old business.
Excuse me, contract with John Caspera.
Yes. We're looking for a vote tonight. All the trustees should have in their possession the updated contract with the Caspera Group. And if Stephanie, if you're available, if you can come up in case anyone has questions. But as we all know, Ms. Redmond is no longer with us. We've extended her agreement until we can make this transition smoothly. Thanks to the negotiating efforts of Trustee House, we were able to knock down a few dollars down from the original cost, but we don't want to discount what your services are. So again, if you would update persons who have not heard what we're about to do and kind of give us an overview of the services of the Caspera Company in lieu of us getting a finance manager or director.
Okay, the scope of the services haven't changed from what Tim went over. I know Tim came and did a presentation at the last meeting. So the scope of the services has not changed at that time. A little bit of the terms of the contract changed. And what we did after talking with Trustee House, and he had requested if we could reduce the contract for the remainder of the fiscal year to be more in line with what was budgeted in those numbers, down to $11,500 per month from what we had originally requested, $14,000. So we have agreed to those terms, and the term that we're going to have for the contract, rather than being 6 months out at the beginning, is going to be for 3 months through the end of the year. And then that'll give everyone a good feel of where we're at coming into the end of the fiscal year this year. And then it also gives 3 more months of the board to decide what they're going to do with that position moving forward at that time. So that's the updated term. So that's the contract that we're looking for now, is for $11,500 a month for February, March, and April.
Also, I wanted to make sure, because it's recorded in the record for last board meeting 2 weeks ago, that it would be retroactive. The payments or the billing doesn't start until, what is it, next month?
February 1st, right, because it hadn't been approved, so we haven't changed
of
those
this
services.
contract.
Yes, Ms.
Okay.
Redmond has still been performing as as an independent contractor for the month of January.
If I may, I also just wanted to kind of chime in and thank the Caspera Group for your willingness to work with us in our financial condition and meet us in between. Equally to be noted, I wanted to say on record thank you to Ms. Yvonne Redmond, who took on a new position but agreed to work with us on a part-time basis to continue moving forward with the Village of Dolton. A lot of times people get a new job and they say, I'm out of here, and she didn't do that. So we want to give her commendations. We do have a plaque that, well, she's not here, she won't. We do have a plaque that we wanted to give her for acknowledgement of her service. Modestly, she said that she appreciates it and she will receive it, but she's not in attendance today. But we want to thank all involved in as well, Trustee Muhammad, for the communication with Caspera Group. Thank
Yeah, and I will say with respect to that too, that we've been working with Ms. Redmond throughout this process and plan to make it as smooth of a transition as possible to minimize those costs. And we want to make sure that we're all working together so we can transition the roles with as little disruption as possible.
Okay, so do you need a motion? I make a motion that we accept the agreement.
I second.
It's been motioned and seconded to accept the Kisperic agreement. Any discussion? No discussion, roll call.
Trustee Muhammad.
Aye.
Trustee Stubbs.
Aye.
Trustee House.
Aye.
Trustee Denton.
Aye.
Trustee Pearson.
Aye.
Trustee Henyard.
Aye.
6 ayes, motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you. I look forward to working with you all.
Thank you, Stephanie, for
Next thing
all
on
of
the
your work.
agenda is update on business selling illegal cigarettes. Trustee Muhammad.
Yes, Mayor, if you could update us, the last meeting, the attorney said he took 100% responsibility for this kind of falling through the cracks on the selling of illegal cigarettes, and we do know that documentation has been sent to yourself. If you could update the board and the residents where we are on a hearing of the person selling illegal cigarettes, which is the Marathon gas station located about 1400 East on Sibley Boulevard. Could you let us know when the hearing would take place, or what is the findings? Just update us concerning this.
I have no update. The attorney sent out a, I think he sent it to all the trustees, looking for a date, available date for a hearing. He's not here tonight, and I have no update on where it's at.
Well, as you know, in the correspondence, he wanted you and staff to fill in these dates. It's really not up to the attorney to put in the dates for the hearing. And it's vitally important that we move on this, because these are tax dollars that the residents aren't seeing. You know, we talk about, I know the young man talked about sidewalks and streets. These are some of the dollars that we're missing when you got vendors who are selling illegal cigarettes, counterfeit products in their stores. We need to get this hearing in place, because we don't want this to go to the wayside like we did with Club One, where it's supposed to have been a hearing. There was no update on the hearing. So we would like to get a date as soon as possible, Mayor, and I'll put this on the agenda for February. But we're looking for a date to have this hearing to get these persons' licenses either revocated or suspended. Preferably revocated, because they're constantly being found guilty in selling loosies and illegal cigarettes. And again, for those of us who don't smoke or think about cigarettes, this is revenue that we're missing. This is dollars that we're missing. These are dollars that they go out and they buy cartons and cases of cigarettes out of state. They even hire young men to get trucking licenses, to hire them to go out of state to bring cigarettes in to sell at these stores. And this is not the only person that's violating this, the one on Sibley. There are others that are under investigation, but again, the reason for me putting this on the agenda, hopefully, Mayor, by next board meeting, we'll have a date that we'll have a hearing for the license revocation or suspension at that hearing.
Next thing on the agenda.
Could I be recognized?
Go ahead.
I just wanted to add, and I know Trustee Muhammad spoke on it, but the residents need to make a big issue out of this, because you're talking big revenue to the village that we're missing. And I don't mean tens of thousands, I mean hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, because I was personally told that they make $900 to $1,000 a day selling loosies and out-of-state cigarettes. And they don't care that we fine them $5,000, because $1,000 a day is $365,000 a year. And so they don't care about $5,000. So what we need to do is shut them down. And we're going to introduce a new ordinance in the very near future, because in my opinion, they should be closed for a week the first time, and closed for a month the second time, and then ultimately put out of business. And I know some people will say, well, we don't want an empty business there, but we're not getting our revenue. This is why we can't fix your streets and we can't trim your trees, because they're taking home, just think if each one of them takes home $365,000 a year of tax dollars. And all that tax dollars don't come to us. Some of it goes to the county, some of it comes to us. But I think they think this is a mecca to come to Dolton, because I was told by somebody that knows that they say Dolton don't care. Go to Dolton and do it and get away with it.
Come on,
Well,
trustee.
we busted them. Mayor, please let me finish. We've busted them, and it's time to have the hearing. And Mayor, that is up to you.
It's not up to me.
Thank you. I'm through.
Thank you. I'm glad
Point
you're
of
through.
information, Mayor.
Yeah, hold on. We're gonna move forward on this.
I'm still on my items, Mayor. We're still on the item. We're still on the update on business selling illegal cigarettes. I have a question concerning
and
the
ask
issue
your
at hand. Now, you said it's not up to you, Mayor. The attorney in his correspondence to every trustee on the board, and if any other persons want to chime in, this is not just Trustee Muhammad that have an issue with illegal cigarettes, but there are other trustees and residents who have a problem with illegal cigarettes. If you say it's not up to you for a date for a hearing, who is the person responsible for having a hearing for these illegal cigarettes being sold in the village of Dolton if it's not the mayor?
Chief, who conducted the stings on these gas stations?
Several times a year, or multiple times a year, the police department does undercover operations on complaints of loose cigarettes being sold or out-of-state tax stamps cigarettes being sold, and we also do proactive where there is no complaint, but we still spot check them.
So who holds the hearing?
Right, that's the question.
We set the tickets up for hearing. The owners of the businesses come in. When they're found liable, they are charged a fine. They pay the fine, and it continues the circle. The cigarette business, the loose cigarette business, and the out-of-state tax stamp cigarette business is big. It is huge. They make so much money on it that they don't care about paying $5,000 fine, $10,000 fine. They'll pay that and continue the cycle. That's why some of these stations have been busted multiple times by the police department. But we do our due diligence and continue to spot check. They go to court, they pay the fine. That is as far as the police department can go.
And not only that, it's not unique to Dolton. All of these suburbs.
We're not talking about all the suburbs. We're talking about Dolton. Right?
Well, I'm talking about all these suburbs.
We're talking about Dolton.
I'm talking about all these suburbs.
About Dolton.
Yeah, right. The county, Cook County, has fined so many of these gas stations and have not collected the fines. This is not unique to Dolton. It's in the city of Chicago. It's next door, our neighbors. It's not unique to Dolton. So the thing that happens is that there was an undercover sting, and it has been on other occasions, and they get their day in court, whether you like it or not.
Okay, that's what we're asking you, Mayor. We're asking you to please have their day in court, because according to the letter
I'm not going back and forth
that we
with you
all
on
have
this.
from Attorney
I'm not going
Murphy,
back and forth with
he
you on
states
this.
in his letter.
I'm not going back. Order.
He says, attached, please find the draft charges. I need staff to fill in a couple of blanks for me. We should be able to file the charges by the end of this week. You want to pound out the truth, Mayor. We need a date for the hearing, sir.
You heard it. Okay?
No, I haven't heard it. We're looking for a date for the hearing, Mayor.
Next thing on the agenda is
well, as long as the residents and the public can see that you refuse to give a date for those who have contributed to your campaign, which is why you don't want to shut them down.
The next thing on the agenda is the speed bump program.
They were busted in July. That's what you need to know.
You want to address that or not?
Yeah, it's on the agenda, Mayor. We want to address everything that's on the agenda.
Speed bump program, and I'm not going to go back and forth with you this year. We're going to move on. If you want to address the next issue on the agenda, then address it.
If you would allow me, I would, sir.
Speed bump program.
If you would allow me, I would.
Go ahead.
Okay. The update on the speed bump program, for those of you who are monitoring and watching this on the internet, the recommendation for the application that was drafted by Chief Collins, my suggestion that we put it on the VO Dolton website, of course, and the persons will go to the resident portion of the website, and we have to create a link for application. That application has been turned in to the clerk. The clerk is to forward it so that it will be up on the website. And we also have the program, an overview of the program itself, that hopefully it would also be on the website. That has also been forwarded to the clerk. So whenever she gets back, I'll follow up with her, and hopefully by February, we'll have a further update on our speed bump program. But what's going up on the website, 2 items. Number one, the application that you would fill out so that you can get a request for speed bumps on your block. And number 2, an overview of the program, which should also be on the website and also on Channel 4 and 99. And that's what I have, unless the chief wanted to add something to it. But thank you again, Chief, for those 2 pieces of information that you followed up quickly on. But again, I'll follow with the clerk to make sure that we put that on the website for the residents to see.
Next thing on the agenda is village administrator position, Trustee House.
Okay, yes, I just put this up here for discussion for board consideration. At the present time, we do not have any money in our budget allocated for a village administrator position, and I believe that's a position that is desperately needed. I've heard it said several times, so I believe there is a overall consensus that we need the position. So I just want to ask the board that we look into putting a village administrator salary within this next budget. I know the budget is due May 1st, well, the end of this fiscal year is April, so that I will be asking that we seek to put money in that budget so that we could begin the search process, so that as the new fiscal year comes, we'll be ahead of the curve in terms of looking for that. And I just wanted discussion to get kind of feedback to see if there's agreement or if that's something that we would not look to put into next budget.
Yes,
I'm in agreement also.
we definitely need a village administrator.
I agree.
I agree.
Okay. I think the maybe the second part of that then is we would have to identify a salary in terms of, are we going to stick with the salary we had before, which would be $100,000, or would there be a different amount which would help us to gauge and get some interest? And that may be something that we probably would push to the finance committee through the budget process, but I want to put it on our radar so that hopefully we can move that as quickly as possible.
Yeah, that would definitely have to be under discussion, because right now we're still facing a $2.5 million deficit as we speak. That hole has not been filled. Mr. Kankar has not found a buyer for the bond, so the finances of this village is still dire. We'll go over that next Wednesday. And again, village administrator is definitely needed. Again, we have to look at the finances, because right now we do have a deficit of $2.5 million and growing.
Okay, next thing on the agenda is new business. I'm sorry.
Can we add that onto the finance committee that you have next week to consider what Trustee House is stating, to add to the budget?
I think we should. Yes, trustee.
Okay.
Next thing on the agenda is new business. Refund to Mr. Cleo Jones, Trustee Pearson.
I put this on the agenda because I felt, and this is me, this is not the board's decision, or this is not how the board feels, but I felt that Cleo Jones was dead or wrong. Cleo Jones is the Park District president, and he had an issue where his water was cut off, and it was cut off, as he explained to me, without a shut-off notice, and he went and paid his water bill, and was told that his water would take 24 to 48 hours to get cut back on, and he asked could they get it sooner, and they said, well, you know, it takes up to 48 hours. And I don't know, over the next day or whatever day it was, his water was cut back on. And he explained to me that when they came back to cut it on, or he was given a citation, is the bottom line, $1,500 citation. He went to court, and Trustee Muhammad, Trustee Stubbs was at court with him, and I hear that there was about 6 people in court that day, and out of the 6 people, he was the only one found liable. Everybody else was let go, but Cleo Jones was found liable, and they reduced the fine from $1,500 to $250. I felt that that was a wrong being done, especially after talking to Cleo. He felt that the mayor had it in for him, and they had issues over time, and that this was his punishment. So I was going to I had put on the agenda to refund Cleo Jones his money, but I am removing that because the village attorney, Mr. Murphy, sent us a letter, all the trustees email and recommended against this because it sets a precedence, and you'll have people coming in saying, give me the Cleo deal. I don't want to pay my ticket either, so give me the Cleo deal. So I am going to remove this, but I just feel that this whole thing stinks to me. It just don't pass the smell test to me. I don't know how everybody else feels about it, but I don't think some things weren't done right here. I mean, why wasn't he given a shut-off notice? You're supposed to get a shut-off notice to say, hey, you better pay your bill or we're going to cut your water off. But not him. His was just cut off. And then he gets a $1,500 fine. He told me when they need the water cut on and off at the Park District, Dolton, the village comes and cuts it off. They don't go and get a rod out of the closet and cut it off. He says they call the village, and the village will cut their water on and off or do whatever they need doing. So to me, it don't pass the smell test, but I'm going to follow the attorney's advice and not ask for a motion to refund him his $250 that he was, they call it liable. He was found liable, and nobody else was. It's just amazing. And that's all I have. I'm done.
Well, since you decided to throw me in there and said it was me, it wasn't me. He got issued a ticket, he got his day in court, and now you're saying the adjudication judge had, I guess was part of it, him being found liable. He found him guilty, and he reduced the fine for him, a $250 fine. And I agree totally with what the village attorney sent today. Do we give everybody's money back to get found guilty in court? Or do we just give it to elected officials who some of you are friends with?
No, the people who are done wrong, man.
Right. That's why they have
we
judges.
Shouldn't be allowed.
That's why they have judges.
Yeah,
you get your day in court.
But the judge does
That's
your
what
work
you got
for
judges.
you.
That's where you got judges.
You appoint him, and he do work for you.
Well, apparently, the village attorney thought the same thing. I believe this relates to an ordinance violation proceeding with where Mr. Jones was found liable. The decision to refund is a matter of board policy, but I caution the board that this creates a dangerous precedence and perception. In particular, if a politically connected elected official is given a refund after having been found guilty, shouldn't regular citizens be expecting the same treatment? The board members risk being bombarded with requests from ordinary citizens asking for the Cleo deal. Mr. Jones has the right to appeal the finding to Markham Court. So there is appeal process in place if you feel it was done unjustly.
And you appoint both of them.
I appoint the judges in Markham?
You appoint...
I appoint the judges in Markham?
You appoint the person that's going to hear it.
Come on. I appoint the judges in Markham?
Mayor, what I'm saying to you is this wasn't right. Yeah. You can shake it any way you want.
Take it to the court if you don't think it's right. There's an appeal process. Yeah, well, go ahead. That's fine. Take it wherever you need to go. But it went to court. It went to court. It was adjudicated, and there's an appeal process. If you want to appeal it, you can go through the process. Next thing on the agenda is ADA compliant restrooms at Village Hall. Trustee Pearson.
I put this on because someone came and told me there was a senior trying to get down to the bathroom at the last board meeting with a walker and couldn't make it down. And I just want to ask you, Mayor, if you are working on anything, because this is This is not something to argue over. You might be working on it, and I don't know that you're working on it, but if you're not working on it, I would like the board to just give a consensus whether we should move forward with a quote and a recommendation from some company, whether it should go upstairs, downstairs, where's the best place to put it, because I know that we're in violation, and I've had several residents tell me, you're in violation of ADA, and we're going to sue the village. And I think we need to be proactive and do something about it, because that bothered me when they say she was trying to walk down the stairs with the walker.
Well, one of the things that when I asked MB Bank to donate us this building was that it was voted against on several times, was to put an elevator here, because those stairs are not negotiable with a walker. We have plenty of room to put an elevator here, and that would make it easier for people to get downstairs that has disabilities. Now, as far as the becoming ADA compliant, I'm not sure if we are grandfathered in, since this building.
No.
But I'm not sure if we're grandfathered in, but if we need to be in compliance, then we have to be in compliance. You have to put something in the budget to make it happen. But I would strongly suggest us having an elevator for the building here if we're going to allow outside public to use the bathrooms and people with disabilities.
So I would make a recommendation, ask the board today to let us get a cost of the elevator.
Last I looked into it, was about $80,000.
And we should compare that to the cost of a restroom at the same area. You're talking about an elevator and also a restroom, a way to get downstairs. We're not professionals, so we should bring somebody in to look at it and tell us what to do. And I think we should do it right away before somebody sues us and we find out that we're not grandfathered and that we're violating the law.
Okay, you going to look into that, Trustee Pearson?
No, I don't think it's my job, Mayor. I think it's your administration's job. You always throw that out there.
No, you always throw it back on me. No, you might make a suggestion. You come in and do other things, so I just thought maybe you do it. You don't want to do it, no problem. We'll find somebody to do it.
Mayor, I'm not going to say what it is.
I agree with the bathroom upstairs, not necessarily the elevator. I do think we should change maybe the mirror room into an actual bathroom.
We had looked at that earlier, and it's a matter of plumbing to bring the sewage pipe over that far and then to vent it. So it's really would be very expensive to try to put it in that area because none of the drains that run for the sewage run that way.
And did they check any of the other rooms up here, areas?
These other rooms are too small. Only way we could do is we only got 3 offices here to try to cut that conference room, but still it's closer to the sewage drain, but it still be kind of costly to run it.
All right.
So however the board want to spend the money.
Mayor, can I be recognized?
Go ahead.
I think we should get an estimate of what it would cost to construct a bathroom back there in the mailroom area. Elevator, I think, is totally out of the question. That's way too expensive. We're talking about maybe 2 bathrooms for male and female within that area of the mailroom. I think that you're saying persons had came in. We need to see, again, for public information, what persons came in, gave an estimate that it would cost such and such. So I think the trustee putting this on the agenda, we need to see a proposal with at least 2 or 3 plumbers, what it would cost for us to be ADA compliant with the bathroom located in the mailroom area.
The thing about the elevator is that we have the conference room downstairs, and when you want to hold activities or hold meetings downstairs, those disabled people that may want to attend still would have the flexibility of going up and down safely. That it wasn't just for the bathroom usage.
Well, we can get a proposal for both. Let's just see what they both cost. This board is not aware of the construction costs for an elevator or male and female bathrooms up on the first floor. If we can get proposals on both.
You can just have.
And I think if we had them upstairs, if we had ADA upstairs, those meetings could be held upstairs. I mean, the meetings would just have to be held around the fact that this is the only ADA restroom we have upstairs, then hold the meetings upstairs.
Sometimes when during the normal business hours, and depending on the size of an event, it's not conducive to hold it up here and have the day-to-day operations going on. So that was an added feature of having that conference area downstairs, and anybody that needs with a disability that needs to attend an event downstairs could do so safely.
So it sounds like to me if Trustee Pearson don't take the ball, this ain't gonna happen. So the seniors who can't get to the restroom, we're saying we're just gonna let it go unless Trustee Pearson can come here and do this.
I didn't hear that. If you're hearing that, I don't know where you're hearing it from.
You asked me to take the lead on it.
I asked you, could you? I'm not gonna go back and forth. The next thing on the agenda is
Mayor, that's what you always do.
I mean, you want to go back and forth in this.
Because I'm trying to get clarity from what you're saying.
It is
everything tonight.
It is clear.
You don't have any responsibility.
It is clear,
Mayor.
It is clear. Next thing on the agenda is capping the number of beauty supply stores in the village of Dolton.
Seniors out there
Trustee
hear this.
Oh, they see it, Trustee. They see it.
Thank you. I placed this on the agenda because we have 4 beauty supply stores in the village of Dolton. I was thinking about putting a cap on that. That way it will be no more beauty supply stores that can enter our area. Or we can word it a different way. They cannot be on the Sibley corridor, and they can maybe go to the back of Dolton, which is 142nd Street. I'm basically looking for direction from the board if they are in support of this, because I will have to go through the zoning process and the hearing process in order to initiate this. The locations are Big Daddy's Bundles, that's located at 140 West Sibley, Young's Beauty Aid, 715 East Sibley, J. Ruhr Beauty Corp., 1221 East Sibley, and Diva Beauty Supply, 1040 East Sibley. They all are on Sibley. I think that's enough beauty supply stores that we can get our weave from, ladies. We don't need to add more. So I think that's kind of at the cap. So basically I'm trying to advocate that we stop there, or if you guys want or have a different opinion or option, I'm all ears.
Can I be recognized, Mayor?
Go ahead.
I'd like to go with the recommendation of Attorney Murphy and his, and I hope I can read this one off, Mayor. A proposal to limit the number of beauty supply stores in the village, even though such commercial uses are permitted under zoning, would require an amendment to the zoning ordinance. Any amendment to the zoning ordinance requires a public hearing. The board would have to authorize this process. That's why the attorney is recommending that the proposal be a discussion item, and then that discussion, I agree that maybe we should hold a public hearing, get the input of the residents to let them know what their concerns, feelings are for the zoning of these beauty supply, I guess they're called beauty supply stores.
Okay, well, I agree. I thought that's what I just said, but so you're in agreement with it moving forward?
I'm in agreement for having a public hearing to get the residents' feedback on how we should zone this and changing the zoning ordinance.
Okay.
May I be recognized, Mayor?
Go ahead.
My only concern is that I want to go and talk to these 4 places that you just named and to see how they feel about limited. I'm sure they're probably in favor so that they don't have any more competition, but I want to go and talk to these people.
But so you're not in favor of initiating the process of the zoning?
No, I am in favor of a public hearing because it will let us hear what they have to say.
Okay, so from today I can initiate it with your vote as far as the
public hearing, yes.
Okay.
And make sure we include them in the public hearing.
You turn your mic.
Businesses, yes.
Yeah, my only concern about this is all the beauty supply stores are handle different products to a certain degree. Some have a lot more products than others. But when you put ordinances in place like this, you're also saying we're going to cut out sales tax revenue, because those retail stores create sales tax revenue. And I think a year or so ago, 2 years ago, there was a moratorium put on, was it barbershops or beauty and barbershops for 6 months or something like that. And some of those services do not generate sales tax, but to limit retail businesses that actually bring sales tax to the village, I would say we need to really take a look at that, because when you talk about revenue that we need, retail is one of the, and then again, Sibley is where everybody wants to go when they want to bring a business in Dolton. They want to bring it to Sibley because you got the high traffic area. So anyway, I think the board should take that into consideration.
So, Mayor, you think we should add another beauty supply store on Sibley?
Well,
We have 4.
you mentioned 4.
It's 4.
You mentioned Bundles, which is a small storefront that I don't really think has a high volume of retail sales. And then you mentioned the Hair's Beauty Supply place, I guess it's next to Foot Locker.
So what's any different from me advocating for the beauty supply stores to stop so we can make our community look better than a liquor store or people selling alcohol every other block? It's no difference.
It
should be a cap. It shouldn't be that many. You have enough choices to pick a place to go to.
It's not. It's first of all, it's not a liquor store every other block. Secondly, look at all the vacant property on Sibley.
But I don't think it should be a liquor store. It could be.
I didn't say it should be a liquor store. But I'm saying look at all the vacant property on Sibley, and that can be occupied. Anybody that makes a substantial investment wants to be in a high traffic area so they can have the opportunity to get more retail. So I just said, look at it. You can do whatever you want to. The board can do whatever they want to. I'm just saying, just look at. You're saying it's okay to have a beauty supply store if it's not on Sibley. Just put it on 142nd Street.
No, there was another option that the attorney gave me.
Yeah, but
I really want to just put a cap on it and have 4 be the limit.
And not let them sell cigarettes. Lucy's.
Oh.
Mayor, can I be recognized?
Go ahead.
Okay, just on this one, and anything that calls for a public hearing or input from the public, I would be in favor of, because I think that gives us the best representation. So yeah. I'm all for a public hearing.
I agree with you on that. Okay, next thing on the agenda is ordinance permitting elected officials to enter onto village property. Trustee Henry.
Thank you. But Mayor, can you make sure for the record, Attorney Murphy know to move forward with the public hearing zoning? I just want to put that on the record.
You better send it.
Madam Clerk. The issue I have with that, I don't know if you recall, I think that was 2 years ago, Mayor. We had a disagreement with you, the board, and yourself regarding entering public property, which is village home. You thought it was best that the board, meaning the Board of Trustees, cannot go in any public facility, whether it's police department, fire department, water department, any departments. And the thing that I don't appreciate about
That's not true.
Let me get my story.
Go ahead, finish. Go ahead.
The thing that I do not that I agree with is not your choice to say where we can enter. We all was elected by the people, so we can enter any building. So myself, Trustee Stan Brown, Robert Hunt, Sabrina Smith, and Bandale at the time all voted or made an ordinance to say that we can enter a public facility. I don't know if the board saw that attachment. They attached the ordinance. It's ordinance number 13-027. And now here we are 2 years later with the same exact problem. So I placed this on the agenda because a couple trustees are having the same issue that we had 2 years ago, because a lot of residents don't understand why we make laws. It's because we fight here, unfortunately, over the littlest things such as entering the building. I don't appreciate you placing the staff in jeopardy amongst who say what to do. If we want to go inside, for instance, water department, the staff will not open the door because you told them that we cannot enter that building. I don't understand how you can tell them where we can enter. We still residents, we still have a water bill, and we still have issues that we deal with other residents when we go over there to ask the staff. So do you want to clear any of that up, or what's the reason for you telling staff we cannot enter the building?
I never told the staff you couldn't enter the building because you have entered the building. What I did tell the staff is that every trustee, not every, but there are some trustees here, and our village attorney had cautioned you on this and had wrote up his suggestion on a memo that it's constant interference with the employees. And the trustees are not their boss. And you came into the water department. The problem is you want to come in the back there where they're working, and they still can. This is the office there that can be correspondence. You have not been barred from any building, but every day or every other day, there's a trustee coming over to the water department, let me in the back. It interrupts them while they're taking, serving other customers. And it may be you today. I'm not saying it's you today, but it could be you today. Then it's another trustee the next day. Then it's another trustee the next day. And I'm gonna be honest with you, some trustees have been over there asking about my business.
So is that the reason why?
That's not the reason. I told them that before that happened.
Because before that, I didn't have an issue. I can go in and out, and when I go, I'm only taking care of village business.
Did they tell you that when some of the trustees come over there, it interferes with the day-to-day working?
No, they did not tell me.
They didn't tell you that part.
But they just said.
But they came and told me.
Orders of the mayor that
they came
we
and told
cannot
me.
enter the building. And I say, wait, what? So we couldn't go to the back and take care of the business.
How many times have you and other trustees came into all these different employees here and interrupt what they were doing, even when there were residents out here taking care of business, interfering with them, and they stop because they feel scared?
Well,
and they stop and they
I don't interrupt anyone's day-to-day operation. If I come, it's strictly on business or something that I'm advocating.
You haven't been barred from the building.
No. I'm only speaking of one incident, and that's just the water department, so I don't know. You said how many people come here. But I go over to the water department to deal with the water issues that we have. That's it. And I couldn't get in the back because they told me.
What you need to get in the back for to deal with the water issues when they can talk to you right in that office and right through the window?
Do you talk to the staff through the window? No, you don't. You go in the back,
they come down to my office.
Okay, so what's wrong with us as elected officials?
You're not the mayor.
I don't have to be the mayor to talk.
Well, why
to
you
the
gotta be the
staff
mayor?
To go in the back.
What?
I'm saying it was
what's
never
the
a problem.
difference?
My point is this, Mayor. It was never a problem before. So why is it a problem now?
Because they have told me that different trustees come in and they have to stop what they're doing, even if they got a line in the drive-through.
Why don't you name those trustees, Mayor? Because I don't like that. I've been to the water department one time, and they invited me in to look at my water bill. So when you say that, these trustees, you should name who you're talking about.
Name the trustees.
I don't go over there to the water department ever. I've been a trustee 6 years, and they've invited me back there twice. I never asked to see anybody. That's not my committee. When I need to see someone in my committee, I call Chief Collins and I call Chief Dyer, and we have a great relationship, and I ask when they can see me. Okay. So when you say these trustees, speak about who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Mayor, may I be recognized?
No, we're gonna move on. Trustee, did you get?
I know, but this is the trust. This is the board of trustees, and I know that's why you don't want me to be recognized, because Attorney Murphy, I just asked him this question a few days ago about him stating that the trustees could not go inside of a particular department, and I named the water department, and I named that department because that's my committee, and I need to go over there pretty periodically to ask for information pertaining to my committee. Now, he said he had no knowledge of what I was talking about, and he did not say anything to you pertaining to that, because I was told that I wasn't allowed over there, and nobody have to go over there and ask for your information. You can forward the clerk and get your information, because that's public knowledge.
Okay, thank you.
Okay?
Thank you.
So,
Trustee Henry,
therefore, I wasn't finished, Mayor.
Fine, we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on with this.
You go on and on and on and on about what you want to talk about, but you don't want anybody else to say anything.
Right.
So therefore, I know it's right. I'm not going back. I'm not going back and forth with you.
Trustee
Okay,
Henry.
I had some. I wasn't finished.
Silence everybody.
We're not,
you want to
it's not
silence us?
it's
That's
not
right.
The fact of trying
You
to
wanna-
silence
you-
us.
yes, it is.
We're not doing this
Yes,
this
it is,
year.
because
We're
don't
not doing
nobody
this this
been
year.
interfering in their jobs.
Okay, you out of order right now.
I'm not out of order. You out of order because I was
You out of-
speaking,
you out of
and
order
you want
right
to
now.
silence me.
Chief.
This is
Chief.
what I'm talking about, residents.
Will you
Now you
maintain
want to
some
call
order
the
here?
police.
Will you maintain some order here,
Okay.
Chief?
See how you
See how you look?
It's a shame that we have.
It's a shame
We're not
that
gonna
the
go back and forth
trustees
this
can't
year.
say anything.
We're not going to go back and forth this year.
Okay.
Trustee Hendrick,
Okay, so can we fix that? That's the whole point of me
they
putting it on
didn't
the
stop you from going in the building.
They did. That's why I put it on the agenda.
They didn't stop you from going in the building.
Yes, they did.
You mean you couldn't go in their front door?
I could not go. I went through the front door. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Then the glass is there, right?
Okay.
Normally, I could go in the back and deal with the resident issue. I could not. I had to.
What's the
stop
difference?
there.
What's the difference?
Because I don't understand what's the issue. I'm elected like
What's
you.
the difference? What's the diff? Why do you have to go in the back when you got 4 or 5 workers there and it interrupts all of them when there's an office right there in front? And if you had some concerns,
I don't
they
need.
can
I
discuss
don't
it
need
with
to
you.
deal with the ladies up front. They
It
dealing
was
with the
private.
customers.
Don't
I
nobody
normally
want
go
to talk
deal
their
with the
business
boss
out in the
lady.
open.
Okay.
And I talk to the boss. The boss is normally in the back. That's their office. So I go into their office,
Okay.
Mayor. So
Okay.
I don't understand what's
We'll
the
get it
issue.
clear-
and
we'll
Why
get it
can't
clear.
I get
That's
in the back?
Gestapo.
We'll get it clarified for you.
Gestapo type.
Okay, next thing on the agenda is a request for proposals for cleaning detailed village-owned vehicles. Trustee Henry.
Okay, again, I place things on the agenda when I have an issue, you guys. I sent the email to the entire board in regards to contracts with our cleaning service here in the village of Dolton. I guess maybe the chiefs can answer me as far as who do the detailing for the police cars, public work cars, all our vehicles here in Dolton. Matt, who do your vehicles? Who cleans them? You do your own? You don't send them nowhere to get them detailed or nothing?
Every now and then, if we do, we run through the car wash in South Holland.
Okay, so our money goes to South Holland when you do the cleaning. What about you, Chief?
Chief Collins, we send our cars to the same place in South Holland.
Okay, so basically, South Holland has a contract with us, Mayor?
No, there's no contract with us.
Okay, so it just go there.
We go.
Okay, so-
We go there for the price.
May I offer some other information on this, please?
Go ahead, Chief.
We, in fact, it was probably a year or more ago, we looked into going to car washes here in town. We approached all the car washes that are able to provide the services that we require, and they cannot give us a contract that is equal to what we're receiving in Dolton. We cannot send our cars to the $3 car wash because they do not offer vacuuming themselves. We would have to do it ourselves, and it's a dangerous situation to have an officer with his head sticking in his car with his gun hanging out on his hip. We're not going to do that, period. So we send our cars, continue to send them to South Holland because of the price and the services that they can offer. Dalton car washes cannot provide the services that we want.
And how much do we pay for a car wash?
$8 a car.
And that's the whole entire detail, the car wash and the inside as well?
We don't send the cars to get detailed that often so we can save money, and we don't send the cars every day also so we can save money. But when they do need washing, we send them in. If they get detailed, it's probably once or twice a year.
Okay. I'm asking the board to support me in doing an RFP for our detailing of the vehicles here in the village of Dolton. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Chief. Other Chief. Dyer.
I was approached on a couple occasions by local vendors here that wanted to do our vehicles, and every price I got was way over $8. So that's the reason we're going to South Holland, because every time that they do get a wash, they also clean the car out. They vacuum the car out, wipe the dashes down, clean. So there was no one here in town that could match the $8 and do the full service like that. Plus they put tire armor all on the tires.
If we can specify in our RFP what it is that the village want and is looking for, I think that a lot of people would basically place their bid. Go ahead, Chief.
Yeah. And another reason was It was an automatic car wash, which would, when the police officers went down to get the cars washed, they were only down, for a minimum amount of time versus a hand detail wash, which would take a lot longer for the police officer to get back on patrol.
Chief Dyer?
The firemen normally wash our cars, so unless I'm short of time, I'll go to the same one in South Holland.
All right, thank you. Any other board member want to chime in?
Yes, Trustee Henyard, I agree with you, and I think you asked me, and I responded by saying that, and I think I got with the chief to see if we can actually do business in Dolton with the $3 car wash as opposed to South Holland. And I don't think they offer that service, but I think we can let them also do an RFP to see if they can do what the village of South Holland is doing, or any other independent party. So I agree that we should put an RFP out, and we should include the $3 car washes at the border of Dolton and Harvey.
Mayor, can I be recognized?
Go ahead.
I think the chiefs as well as Superintendent Stacy kind of chimed in, but I want to get their feedback because it sounds like on some of these, on a lot of them, we're doing them ourselves. And then on others, there may be different requirements. So I kind of want to get feedback from each one. Do you think that it's enough volume that an RFP is necessary, or because this may be an issue that RFP is not required if we're handling most of the things in-house? So if I could just ask, just maybe a yes or no, do you think it's necessary at this time for your department?
Since I've been the chief, I've probably used that car wash 3 times.
Which one, the one in South Holland, Chief?
We normally wash all our vehicles in the firehouse, so for the most part, maybe 3 times I've used that one.
Is this a large chain that you're using, or is this a small business?
It's family owned.
It's a small. It's not like a Delta Sonic or anything. But it's an automatic car wash, so it doesn't take very long. And they do clean the inside, outside, wipe the windows down, all that stuff. So it's a decent car wash.
Trustee Henyard and Trustee House, to respond to that, you're asking for anecdotal information, but the numbers that we spend approximately every month for car washes is around $600 a month. And we should be getting our warrant list for February, and it should have it on. And I think when it's wintertime, that might go up even more, because I think they want to keep the cars cleaner during the salt and the snow. But I know from a few buildings that I've seen, they floated around $600 a month from Expressway in South Holland.
And I think that if we could find somewhere in Dolton to get it done, we should make that happen. And if we can't, then we should leave it alone. I understand that they want to get them washed quickly, and I understand the inside being wiped down and vacuumed, and that is important. The police cannot do that themselves. They should never have their head buried in a car vacuuming. So it has to be done at a car wash. We don't have a lot of automatic car washes, but we might have some places that will say, hey, for the police department, we will clean the inside and outside and do it right away. There's a couple places that I could think of that I'll go and visit myself and ask if they're interested in it, but I don't see anything wrong with doing an RFP or somebody just going to see these places and talking to them. They might not even be interested.
Well, and if I can, the reason for my ask is I think that I like to include the department heads in decisions on their area. So I wanted to kind of get their feedback, and on this I defer to them because I think we hire them. We should trust them with what they say they need. And in this case, there is some money being spent. I don't know that it's so significant to the level that I wouldn't defer to their expertise or their even preference.
I agree with that, but I just believe in Dolton.
I'm sorry, Chief Collins, just briefly, your thoughts, and I know Matt, you said you do them yourself.
Since it's been over a year, and we've already approached all these car washes anyway, it can be done again to have it official. If you want an RFP from these places, then at least we'll have a official word on what their prices are, what they offer, and if we can accept it or not.
Okay. Thank you. Next thing on the agenda is,
Mayor, so I have the support of the board to do an RFP. I was just making sure it was.
yeah, I mean, if you want to do RFP.
Yeah, and I'm looking at the last warrant list, and it was $635 for squat washes at Express Car Wash.
It's always a little higher in the wintertime with the salt and snow.
But I think his point is we using the car wash more than what they're stating. If we paying $600. Some people saying they go 3 times, 2 times. How we get the bill to $600 at $8. So that's why I'm saying RFP.
Well, okay.
So trustee needs a consensus tonight?
Yes, please.
Yes.
I'm in agreement also.
Yes.
I'll go with yes.
And of course, aye. Thank you, board.
Okay, next thing on the agenda is reading of residential and commercial water bills and inactive accounts, inactive bills. Trustee Stubbs.
Yes, good evening, residents. I put this on the agenda because we have so many issues with the water bill. The water department has 2 lists. Outstanding water bill lists for businesses and for residential. And this is one reason why I go over to the water department and I talk with the department heads and I ask for this list because I think we need to know, and especially since I'm the chair of that committee, and I would like this to also to go on record. Next Wednesday, the 30th at 5:00 p.m., I would like to hold a, next Wednesday is your final? Next Thursday, the 31st, at 5 p.m., I would like to have a Public Works and Water Department meeting. And I put this on the list so I can let you know one of the reasons why I go over there, because I received this list, I asked for it. I call them up on the phone and ask, are they busy? Can I come over? Or sometime I'm in the neighborhood and I'll always ask, are you busy? Can you see me? And I ask for this type of information so I can know what's going on with the residential and the commercial water bills. Now, it was just real odd to me, and I just have to say this. It's real odd to me that on this list, I have a business that owes over $20,000 in delinquent water bill, and I spoke with Mr. Stacy, and I asked him, how come these people water wasn't cut off? That's over $20,000.
Second time in December.
And he informed me that it would cost $1,500 to turn this off. And if that was, I'd rather pay the 15 and turn this water off if they refuse to pay the bill. Has that been done, Mr. Stacy?
No, not yet.
Well, I'm here today to ask for a consensus from the trustees to pay this $1,500 if we can still get it shut off, or if they have made arrangements to pay this bill. Janice, do you know who I'm referring to?
Hold it. You can ask that at citizens' address.
Have they paid anything on that? No. And that was some time ago that I asked that question. And that's one of the reasons why I go over there to gather up this information to find out how come certain people are paying bills And how come certain people are exempt from paying bills? So I asked for a list. And
Who's on that?
so I'm asking the trustees tonight for a consensus to pay the $1,500 since these people don't want to pay their bill to cut their water off.
And who is this again?
I'd rather not say it publicly.
Could Mr. States explain why is it $1,500? What is it, a dig job that it takes $1,500 to cut the water off? Could you go into detail why?
Yeah, it's not $1,500. It's going to be more than that, and I told you it'd probably be a little more than that. The water shutoff is on their private property. We cannot access into their property because their tow yard is gated. We cannot get in there. So in order to shut it off, I'm going to have to figure out a way to get on somebody else's property to dig the hole to find the water main. I told you that when we met about a month ago.
It's
So
been
we're trying to work on that, and like I said, I have to get permission to get on other people's property. That's where the water main runs back there.
Can't we close down their business? Mayor? Because that's what they do in Chicago.
Let
We
me
don't
take your
have any
business
license
license
to my
away.
knowledge.
Let me say this. We discussed this about 2 weeks ago. I discussed it with Matt. And it is basically cutting into the main and putting actually another valve in there to have a cutoff outside their property where we can have access. And we've had an issue with this business in regards to gaining access. So it's, and right now, and I'm not sure how I got that far, but right now it's the ground is an issue with the ground being frozen. But it's going to take probably to get this job done for that whole area to be without water for a while until the job is done. It could take, how long, Matt, a day or two to get the job done? So that whoever's coming off that main that feeds into this one location is not going to have water for probably the whole day or a day and a half in order for this main to be cut and then a valve put in there to and then a B-box put up from that valve in order to cut access to that property, to that property.
I have a part two to my question, Mr. Stacy. You conferred with Calumet City Plumbing on this, and apparently there has been some type of proposal put together so that the board could see what you and the mayor are privy to. Can we be privy to that same information so we'll know what it is? Since it's not 1,500, is it 15,000?
No, it's not going to be. It's not going to be that high, but it's going to be more than 1,500 because we've had them price it out before on some other jobs. But as soon as they get the bid together, I'll make sure that gets passed out to everybody.
Thank you.
How much do they owe the village, Trustee Stubbs?
Over 22,000.
So,
and that was
whatever it costs,
a month ago.
Whatever it costs is worth it. But I don't understand why we don't slap one of them red stickers and don't let them operate.
Well, it's the type of, without revealing the business, the type of business that they have is a remote business. They're just housed here in Dolton. So, and in regards to revoking their license, we really don't have an ordinance in place where we can revoke their license for having an outstanding utility bill with the village. So this may be something that you want to do, put an ordinance in place that any outstanding bills with the village, where there's a business license concern involved, that the board has the right to, and then I think this is, of course, would involve a hearing also, has the right to revoke the license until those certain items are paid to the village.
Mayor,
you're telling me you don't think we have an ordinance in place if people owe the village money that they can still operate their business?
I couldn't find one.
Wow. Okay. I'll be calling Attorney Murphy tomorrow because this is crazy that somebody owes this village $22,000 and we're trying to decide how to cut their water off.
No, it's
maybe they're grandfathered in.
That's not the fact that they're grandfathered in. It's just when the properties were put in like that and water these properties had access to the water, that's the way the mains ran.
But they'll cut yours off. You don't pay your bill, we're going to cut yours off.
Robert, the problem, trustee, the problem is you can't, even though there's outstanding bill, if they won't give you access to the property, then there's a problem there. So we have to solve it from.
The problem is, Mary, everything takes so long. It's just like the Lucy's that happened in July.
Come on, trustee,
and
come
now
on.
It's almost July
talked
again.
about that.
Mayor, can I be recognized,
About
please?
that. Go ahead, Trustee House.
Just, well, two questions because I'm just learning of this, so I may have missed it somewhere. Is the cost of this something that can be deferred to the portion so that if we do shut it off with the 1,500 can be?
Oh, yeah,
to their
certainly.
statement?
Yeah.
And then, have there been efforts to communicate with the person, and are they just ignoring our efforts to reach out, or?
Yes, they're ignoring it.
May I finish?
Forgive me. Please forgive me.
Go ahead.
May I finish?
Go ahead.
Okay. So, and my question is, if anybody could tell me, how long have this been going on? How long have anyone been knowing about them owing over $20,000 in delinquent water? And other people get theirs turned off for less than that.
Yeah, like the president of the park district.
Excuse me.
Boy, I'm telling you. It's a dead horse. Leave it alone. Go ahead.
I would like to.
It's been a while. I don't know actually how long, but it's been a while. But one part of the confusion.
When you say a while, Bear, can you give me an estimate, a year?
Probably.
It's been a year.
Probably.
And this is one of the reasons why I go over to the water department and I ask for certain things for my committee. And
you've gotten it. You've gotten it.
Excuse me.
You've gotten it.
But I'm just letting you know this is why I go. I just don't be going just to be going. And I would like to also know what constitute an account to be inactive when the resident or business water is still being used.
Yes.
Can anybody answer that question?
I don't have a clue. If you're using water, you should be paying for the water, because whatever a person uses and don't pay for, we all gonna pay for. That's why we owe Chicago $9 million. We don't even know what's being used in this village, and we can't cut nobody's water off. And some people got inactive accounts, and they're using water every day. But we're not supposed to go into the water department over there. If that ain't the craziest thing I've ever heard in my life.
You through listening to yourself?
Yes.
Quit grandstanding.
Mayor, it ain't grandstanding.
I know where
you just brush everything off. You always got a smooth,
brushing
quick
everything
talking
off.
answer
It's
about
not,
everything.
It's not the fact of
Try
brushing
to
everything
silence
off.
us.
Every
Board,
other
I'm
word.
looking at the title, Board of Trustees meeting.
Every
But
other
you tell us
word.
we can't talk.
Every other word you want to throw the mayor in there.
Because that's what you do.
It's not what I do.
Yeah.
Well,
you should be outraged at $22,000.
We should not be holding these residents here at board meetings to 10 o'clock at night.
You do it all the time, Mayor.
Yeah, because you keep going on, and half of it is because you guys want to attack me.
Let's go,
You do
man.
it all
I'm
the
ready.
time. If I can finish.
Go ahead and finish.
Okay.
I know what you're getting at, but go ahead and finish.
Oh, you talking about your water bills that I had, that I asked Attorney Elliott to FOIA the clerk to find out why you exempt from paying your water bills? I really wasn't going there with you, but since you brought it up,
I know.
being the leader, the president, the mayor, and you don't pay your water bill, and then you'll tell me, well, this my tenants that live in the property and they're obligated to pay it. But if I'm a landlord too, remember? Oh, maybe you forgot.
When you get done,
but
I'm
hold
going to
on
respond.
a minute. Hold on a minute.
Janice, go pull the
Because
history on my water
this
bills.
is the way it's supposed to go. You're supposed to have your tenant's name in the water bill in their name. But I wasn't even talking about your tenants. I was talking about yours.
Okay. Go ahead and talk.
Okay? And how your water bill, according to the records, haven't been paid, and why are you exempt?
Okay.
That's what I was talking
I
about.
owe this village
But I
1
really-
penny on my
I really-
water
You
bills.
must have just paid it or just had it fixed.
You know what I want to know?
You just had it fixed to be paid.
You know what I want to
No,
know?
it's not your turn. You should
Don't
put
tell
it
me
on
it's
the
not my
agenda.
turn. Don't tell me it's not my turn.
You should put it on the
'Cause I'm gonna
agenda.
set you straight.
Okay, I'm already straight. My bills are paid.
Right. You
But,
done?
I'm through with this, the water department.
Thank you.
We can go to the next one.
No. I want to know, and there's going to be an investigation. I want to know how mysteriously my account was, several of my accounts were put on inactive. I want to know why all of a sudden did my tenant who paid for his meter and has been paying his water bill, all of a sudden his bill goes to the wrong address and they blame me for it. And it had been in his name for over 2 years, and all of a sudden my name appears on the account. I want to know who went in there and had changed the names on those accounts, changed the addresses, and marked my accounts inactive. It was done intentionally, and we're going to find out who did it, and it's criminal.
That sounds familiar. That sounds like how you did Bishop Davis, and how you did changed all his
Yes.
PIN numbers and had his stuff flipped over from the village name to the bishop name when he didn't own the property at that time.
Is that why-
That sound fishy. That sound mighty fishy.
It is
That
fishy.
sound like the same
It
thing
is
that.
fishy. It is
And
fishy.
we looking into that,
We
and
got
we want to
proof.
know how that
We got
happened
proof.
too. Yeah,
We got proof.
Sound mighty fishy. Okay? That
Why
was a
did
good
you
one.
and Bishop Davis come into my office and ask me to wipe out over $30,000? Oh, matter of fact,
You know what?
$130,000
You know
in
what?
taxes.
You know
Why
what?
did you and Bishop
You
Davis
need to
come
stop
my
lying.
office
Here you
and
go
ask me to
again.
wi-
You are the biggest liar.
Point of order.
Narcissistic
paperwork
personality disorder. That's what you suffer from. But you are
Next
the
thing on
biggest
the agenda
liar.
is
But you're
freedom of
good at it.
information.
You good at it. I give it
Yeah.
to you. When
You
you
got-
gonna turn red for us?
You got 36 more days in here.
Okay, that's all right. How many do you have?
You got I got 2 years.
Yeah, okay.
Freedom of information,
Cut
next
my
thing on the
mic off.
agenda.
Point of order.
Okay. I have the Freedom of Information Act. And it's unfortunate that
Andrew.
Clerk Dugan is not here. I asked the clerk for to put this on the agenda because I wanted to know, and I wanted the residents to know, how many days do it actually take to get a FOIA request back? Her reply to me was 5 business days, and sometime it take additional time, another 5 days, to get information if the staff is not busy. I don't know if anyone could answer this question. Perhaps Ms. Fields, I'm not sure because the clerk isn't here. And I'll put it on again because I really want to know, and I really want the residents to know. The department forward the request records to me for a response. This is Clerk Dugan emailing me. Note, the exception to this is real estate closing requests, housing and water response directly, and they copy her. So they really, I don't know if you could answer this, Ms. Fields, but do she check what people send her? And you guys, when she disperse it to you guys, you probably can't answer that.
I think sometimes she does, because sometimes she will come back to us and say, did you give me a response to this? Because I don't have it.
Because I know several things I have asked her for. She sent me some of the information, but did not send me all of the information. So maybe I'll get a chance to email her again tomorrow, or put this back on the agenda, because I really want to know how come she did not give me all the information that I asked for. And she didn't inform me that she did not give me all the information. You know, she just sent me what she wanted to send me, and that's unfortunate because I really want the information. So, thank you, Mayor, for letting me speak. That's all I have.
Next thing on the agenda is mayor's report. I have nothing other than to say we got an election coming up. Early voting starts February 11th, and regular voting day is February 26th. Okay, citizens address. We'd like to hold this to 3 minutes,
Okay,
as close as possible.
I gotta stop, y'all. I love you. Talk to you later. Bye. Hi. Good evening, everyone. It's been a very long time since I have been here. And, wow. I mean, I know when I was up there, I was something else. I'm still a fighter, but you gotta learn what to fight for, who to fight, when to fight, and when not to fight. Sorry. I haven't been coming around because I've been reacclimating to normalcy. Because once you have done this for 4 years or 8 years or however many years, it takes a lot out of you. It takes a lot out of you mentally. It takes, mentally, seriously mentally, emotionally, it's draining. Sitting here just for this little bit of time, when I got off work and came here and I just posted, I said, how did my car get me here? I usually turn right on Chicago, but I said, let me turn left. And this was exhausting, sitting here seeing that nothing has changed. Nobody has said, you know, we really need to work together. We really need to do this. You want that, you want this, I want this. And it really shouldn't be an I. It should be a we. It should be a us. It should be an our, because you all are a representation of us. And you know, and we understand that everybody not gonna get along. You don't have to get along with the people you work with. I work with a lot of people I can't stand, but I gotta do my job to get my coins every 2 weeks, period. Now, with that said, number one, you my girl and I love you, but the serious question, you want to cap beauty stores, beauty supply houses. I don't care about that. Cap some of these liquor stores. Now, I can't even remember all of them, but I just can remember 5 on Sibley alone. That's before you get to Chicago. No, that's actually, yeah, that's right, stopping at Chicago, because Liquor City was my last one. Okay, so that's what we need to cap. If we're going to bring some stuff into this community, stop bringing stuff that's detrimental to the people. Period. I don't care if you're black. I really care if you're black. But if you're white, Asian, Hispanic, it really doesn't matter. Bring some things into this community that's going to grow. Stop bringing the same mess. We don't need to see. If you want to cap something, cap these little slot places, because that's the only thing that seems to continue to grow in our community are the little slots. Okay, so that can be capped. You said something about the ordinance for entering village properties. I just think there's a way to handle that just a little bit better. Even though you are trustees, there is still a chain of command. You as a trustee, any of you should be able to go to any head and say, what's going on? I can understand you don't want to be all brute force and say, give me this right here, right now, but you want to be stern and give them a deadline. I need to see what's going on here. I need to see what's going on there. And if you know you have a meeting every 2 weeks, your stuff should be available every 2 weeks at a certain time. Your meeting is on Monday, you should have your stuff by Saturday or Friday if you're still getting it that way. I don't know. But y'all just have to find a better way to handle what's going on rather than this going back and forth. I thought something would have changed by now, and I heard, not so much. It seems like it's gotten a little worse, to be honest with you. Okay, the vehicles. Are there any old abandoned car washes in Dolton that we could probably purchase for ourselves? So you can have, like, I just thought of a name.
3 minutes, you're 3 minutes, ma'am.
Yeah, the last time I was up here, a woman sat here and praised him for 10 minutes. And I'm not saying, I got some questions. And that's former trustee, thanks. I understand.
I'm just doing my job and letting you know you got 3 minutes and
I know.
you have to go ahead and wrap it up.
That was for the cleaning details. I just don't understand why, if you're gonna do a contract, why one has not been done before now. I always see Dolton vehicles getting their car washed over in South Holland. Why is that such a big thing? Okay, you want to keep the money in Dolton. What do we have in Dolton where that, because he said, we looked into it, but nothing in Dolton offers what South Holland gives them. So what do we have in Dolton that can match what they are getting in South Holland? And I know because I've been there before, and they do wonderful work, and I'll go back again. So who do we have in Dolton that can match the work that they're getting in South Holland? Out of all the things that's going wrong here, y'all worrying about a car wash. I'm not worrying about detailing the cars.
Okay. I'm going to ask that.
Why does
I'm going to the next person.
Wait, I have to know this about the water bill. Why is it so difficult for you to get on this property when you have things to do and you know there's going to be a situation? Why wouldn't you take a police officer? I'm asking for myself. I'm not trying to be petty. I'm trying to ask.
You still have to have a warrant if you're going to go on the property. If they deny you access, if they deny.
Wait. I understand the warrant, but that doesn't supersede. You have a $20,000, $22,000 bill. That doesn't supersede, or just like he said, can you slap something on the property? You can't do this here.
You can threaten, and like other villages, and we have a revenue sticker now that we slap on. But if they don't want to let you in, we can't bust in legally. So we have to take another option. The other option is this is going to be a major issue, cutting that main to and replacing another valve, whatever it is, and then the loss of water to all the other customers there for probably a day or so. But if the board wants to authorize us going forward with paying that bill, then we'll go forward and get it done.
Well,
and then we can charge them for whatever expense it is for us to get it done.
Well, I'm going to move on, and I'm so sorry, I forgot to acknowledge trustees, mayor, everyone, you know that. I know blatant disrespect. But please do remember, you all are the legislative body, so you set precedents. If somebody is not doing something, put something in order, especially if it's a business. Put something in order. When you get to a certain amount, if you ain't paid your bill, you got to start doing something. Not going back and forth with each other. It shouldn't be a thing. They didn't do it, bam, period, dot. Bada bing, bada bang, boom. Stop going back and forth.
Man.
Thank you. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that.
Doing my job.
Good evening, Mayor, Board of Trustees, administrative staff, and residents. President Cleo Jones of the Dolton Park District. I just got one question to ask of you guys, and I'm done. It's not a back and forth question. I mean, it's peace. We just had Martin Luther King's birthday yesterday, and hate cannot do anything. We got to serve love to each other, and everybody got to have an understanding. And Matt, I'll pray for you, brother. I'm going to pray for this whole entire board. I just got one question to ask. Who appoints the adjudicator over at the village over there? That's all I got to ask. That's it. I'm done.
The mayor.
Thank you.
Greetings in the name of the Father and Son. Happy New Year's to all the trustee, mayor, fire department, residents. I came today because this is a copy of my meter reader bill at my building, and I'm my landlord's manager. That's why you have no problem me being here today. The next day, they come and they put this card on there. Now, I'll tell you what's upsetting me, and I left a note here. Now, where it went, at this point, I'm not going to care because I My energy can't be used like this. I'd rather deal with the state attorney now than to come here and keep being a witness to the things that I see. One, these cards aren't supposed to have anything wrong on it. It's self-explanatory, so it tells you what should be on here. Whoever your BOJ is here, he wrote on the side, reading indicates excessive billing. Please call ASP. Now, what I did do, I went to his boss, because I like rules, regulations, articles, sections, and things of that, and I'm not going to be here 3 minutes, and I'm not going to be disrespected in my community anymore standing here when I'm talking. I went to his supervisor, and I went and I acknowledged myself, and I showed him all my credentials, because I like, again, rules, regulations, articles, codes, sections, and all those good old things. I told him who I was. He said, yeah, he was supposed to do it. He told the untruth. Nobody is supposed to put anything on here except for what is required on this card. And if they sign it, which is asking for their signature, if they put their signature on here, they're agreeing to something that should be on here. All I'm asking, stop it. They've done enough damage. There's been enough damage done with this water stop. Stop him, or I will request him to be fired from his job. I will ask for his boss to be fired for making untrue statements. I've been out here 34 years, and there's never been anything put on this card except for the information that is supposed to be put on it. Stop doing what you're doing to the people. If it don't bother you, it don't bother you, but you need to stop it, because I will personally prosecute each one of you all now. To your faces, to your accounts at your homes, I will do it. Because we have to find some way to get this money back. So then you're open to be sued. You are an individual sitting there, and it's time for you to stop thinking in all titles and capacity that you can't be sued personally. And as far as election go, if we hold our votes, they can't bring it back in. For once, maybe we need to hold that vote and see exactly who then will come and help us, because it will say something about each one of you all that we are voting for. I'm tired of seeing all this foul stuff. It is an insult to the community. It is an insult to the people. And as a resident and a citizen of the United States, I'm absolutely appalled. All the way up to the White House now, so it can't get no worse than the people having a people revolt and getting y'all out of here and taking everything that y'all got that y'all think y'all can run back to when you go to your house. The reason I apologize is because I had 2 of our residents say something so disrespectful, so distasteful to me. We have got to stop being this way. See, nothing's going to dissuade my love, and nothing's going to stop me from turning the other cheek, and nothing's going to make me bow down and be as low as anybody.
Good evening, residents, mayor, board, administration. I know I asked last year.
Order, please.
Hey, Sheriff, you want to remove her?
No, he can't remove me. Under freedom of speech, you can't hit.
Hey, don't push
But
it.
you're a hypocrite.
Don't push it.
You're a hypocrite.
Anytime. Anytime.
You're big.
Anytime.
Enough. Order, please.
Tough, but you don't touch me. I'm sick of it. Don't none of y'all think y'all got a right.
Chief, do it. Escort her from the building now, please. Escort her from the building.
Sure enough, I'm tired of this, and I'll take you to court. Y'all cowards. Don't touch on me, and don't violate a damn thing of mine. I'm gonna do it on my own.
Leave the building.
On my own. I don't care what you don't want to do, then don't violate my rights. Much as I can respect you.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Thank you. A couple of months ago, I asked about the location of the old CVS. Mayor, you mentioned Gen Care. Is that still on?
Yes.
Okay. Is there a timeline?
Last year, they, I guess they were over budget, but they have submitted their architectural plans, and it's in the new budget for this year. And they from my last contact with them, they want to start April. There was someone actually stripped the copper from copper wire going into the building, and that's one of the issues when these buildings stay vacant so long. But they have replaced it Our inspector has inspected the electrical work that's been done, so I think they're still on track for April. And the plans are in the process of getting approved.
Okay, thank you. That's good. Second question regarding the old Dolton Youth building or house. What's the status on that? First question, does the village own that?
Yes.
Okay. Is there any plans on doing anything with that, finishing the redevelopment, knocking it down, anything?
I would defer that to Trustee Muhammad.
Again, it was a youth center that was going up until I ran for mayor, and then the mayor had it shut down. He had
That's
the
not
fire
true.
department, the electrical. You shouldn't defer it to me because he's going to get the truth. You deferred it to me. I got to answer it. It was a youth center that was going up, but the minute I was running for mayor, he colluded with the fire, police, and inspectors and shut it down. And that's the status of it right now.
Chief, did I collude with you, both chiefs? Did I collude with you to shut the
Love to
project
get the
down?
department heads in, and as soldiers, they should affirm what I'm saying, but the inspection went and took place, and it was shut down by the mayor.
I mean, you're accusing these two chiefs.
I'm accusing you, Mayor. I said you shut it down.
You said collusion. You're saying these.
That's
these
the answer
two
to your
chiefs-
question, sir.
That's not the correct answer, but these two chiefs, how can you stoop so low to say that these two chiefs are colluded with me to shut your project down because you ran for mayor?
Citizens address.
Police department had nothing to do with that building.
Chief, can you say that again?
Citizens address.
What's low
Thank
is
you.
you don't
Thank
pay
you,
your
Mayor
water
Pearson.
bill or your property taxes.
Chief.
That's low.
The police department had nothing to do with that building.
Fire chief.
We had nothing to do with collusion.
AJ, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, sir.
If anything happened at the building, it was an inspection. We were told to do an inspection like any other building, and whatever we found, we found.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you. Regarding the comment made earlier about this building being ADA compliance, I please hope that we investigate that in swiftly and earnest, because I've heard about that in the past, but it's a safety hazard, and the state will come in and shut this building down. Please, let's get that done, just for the safety of the residents and the public, because this is a public building. Lastly, if I can ask, as I've asked in the past, how can residents help this board move our village forward? How can we have to recognize, we have to honestly recognize that if the people in this, we have to actually ask these questions. 'Cause I don't think oftentimes, even as elected officials, as residents, we often ask the questions of how can we help first before we just tear down. That's why I'm asking the entire board, not one individual person, the entire board, because we voted them in. But we don't often, at first we try, not everybody, we tear down and try to criticize before we ask them how can we help. And that's the first time I've asked this question. So, but I keep asking because I haven't got an answer. Maybe you guys don't need help. Maybe that's the answer. Seriously though, how can we help?
Can I answer? Can I address that? Since you asked it.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Excuse me. I'm just making sure that I hopefully say this the right way.
Excuse me, I'm not taking, I'm actually writing notes so y'all give answers. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
In order to be in leadership and to be the head of the leader, be the head, you have to communicate with the rest of the body. This is not about one person. This is about all of us. And it's about communication. And this is, maybe you might want to sit down with all of us, if all of us are willing to sit down with you, because this is about the residents, the trustee, the mayor, the employees that work for the village. This is about all of us, not one of us. And maybe you can find somebody else to sit down with us and talk to us and include us. We were elected to do a job also. And include us instead of calling us down 10 minutes before a meeting, telling us what you want. this is about all of us and what all of us want for our community, because we're invested in this community also. So maybe, I think that's the start. And maybe some men might want to get together, you know, do a prayer breakfast, because prayer works wonders. And sit down with all of us and talk to all of us. This is not just my dream, or I had a dream. This is about all our dreams for this community. I hope I answered you the best way I could, because this is about communication.
I mean, yes, the best way you could. I mean, that's all I can ask for.
This is my only answer.
What about in the currently, mayor or anybody? What about now in the present, and then after that date? Because it's still going to be a village hall, still going to be a village. We're still going to be having to operate and run and provide the services and resources necessary for the citizens. What can we do on a day-to-day basis, constantly, consistently, open communication to make sure this village moves forward, not just doesn't just survive but thrives?
The only way it's going to thrive, first of all, everybody up here, I would guarantee in their mind, wants this place to be a great village with great things to do and places to go and eat and not have to leave your community. I think everybody wants that. I think Trustee Stubbs hit it on the head. It's a big problem with communication. She could have a great idea. She could have a great idea. I could have a great idea. And then we need to move forward with it. But Trustee Stubbs, when she said it's got to come from the head, it does have to come from the head. We can't sit here and fight each other every week because we don't agree with the mayor. We need to talk with the residents and communicate with them. We need more participation from the residents with committee meetings. We need to have meetings where we can just get together and talk about the ideas of the community and where we're headed. We think we're doing the right thing when we bring things to this board. And everything that we bring, you guys are told is bad. Everything, not most things, everything that we do, you guys are told it is bad. And so that makes us angry. We want to express ourselves. We sit here tired. You sit here, you don't know whether to be quiet so that you guys don't think we're ignorant, or whether we speak up, because if we don't speak up, you still think that what's wrong with them. So they're not saying anything, or they're arguing, but we don't have a middle ground. One thing that you always have to do is you give and I give and we meet in the middle. Not I give and you don't have to give anything. It's give and take, and that's what the legislative bodies should be doing. No one branch of government is higher. That's what they're trying to tell the president now. You're not any better than the legislative bodies. You are co-equal, but you gotta give, and it's like the stalemate they have right now. I want 5.3 billion. I want a wall. And we ain't give you no wall because we don't think it's necessary.
Citizens address.
But the people, Mayor, I'm asking this question. That's the problem. That's the problem right there.
When I tried to explain it, you said it's citizens address.
I'm not through, Mayor.
That's what I said.
Mayor, I'm not through.
That's double standards.
See, I'm not through. And as I was explaining, we have to meet in the middle. It has to be give and take, not give.
I just asked.
Mr. Burst, we're way past the time. We need the next speaker, please.
Good evening, Mayor, Board, residents. I just really want a point of clarity on this, the court date. I wasn't clear. If a ticket is issued, the police department sets a date. You were asking the mayor for a date. Is there a different date Because I got really confused about that. Muhammad, I guess.
The mayor, you want to address it to me or the mayor?
I wanted to make sure I understood what you were, the points
The
you were
whole
bringing.
purpose for the being put on the agenda, the last meeting, this vendor, along with many other vendors, are selling illegal products.
Okay, but
they're breaking the law.
Got that.
What the mayor supposed to do, which he will not do, is set a date for a hearing.
So let me
All he
back
has
up.
to do is set a date for the hearing, not the police department. The mayor sets the date for the hearing.
So, Chief, can I
Because he
ask you?
adjudicates the hearing, or he gets an officer in his place.
Can I ask you, Chief, when you give a ticket, you give a date, and that date, the person goes to court, right? Because I'm so confused about that.
Okay, just for a little clarity, we issue the citation to the violator. On the citation is written what their court date is. They can choose to pay the violation, or they can go to court to present their case. So according to the ordinance, the first offense is $1,000. The second offense, $5,000. Third offense, $5,000 and suspension and/or revocation of their business license. The police department does not have any authority to remove a business license. That's beyond the village have. We issue, they go to court. If they get fined, they get fined, and we just continue the process. What happens on the business license side of it has nothing to do with the police department.
So are you looking for a date to have the business license revoked?
Revoked or suspended, yes.
Okay, now I'm clear what that
But
second
he
date is
refused to
about.
give a date of the hearing, just like
don't
he did with
refuse
Club
to give a
One.
date.
I didn't want to start. I just
Then you should address
really
the
wanted
mayor, not
clarity.
me. Then
I
you should
just
address the mayor.
really wanted
Oh,
clarity.
boy.
I understand it now, what that date was that you guys were going back and forth about. Secondly, with the question that was brought up by AJ in terms of how we can get involved, one of the things is the committee meeting, and I certainly agree with those, but I'm going to ask, is it possible to have them 5:30, because I get off work at 5? And I'd love to attend. I have some flexibility, but as a resident, I can't always get here at 5, and I certainly want to be a part of it. Consider it. You don't have to answer me tonight, but I'll ask it again. And then one other question or comment regarding Everett's.
3 minutes.
I got you. Just really quick. If the liquor license is considered, is there going to be a cap on how many of those you give out at any point? Because I think that, you know, while we do have a lot of liquor stores and businesses in our town, I don't want us to be known as the place with liquor. But if you're not going to be selling liquor, but you just need it for the slot machines, I don't know that I agree with that either, but I don't gamble, so I'm not that person.
I can answer that for you.
Yes.
We are at our limit for liquor license, unfortunately. He will have to advocate to the board to get us to add another line item under the mayor's liquor licenses.
Okay.
So there's no more room for any more new liquor licenses. So we will have to create one for him.
Okay.
Correct.
You I don't think we were talking to you.
But if I consider it, if I consider it, I would write some rules.
Stipulations
an ordinance.
within that?
Yeah,
Because if he's given so much back to our community, which many businesses don't, it should, that's just me, I
Yeah,
would
but then
think
that
about
come pay to play. We don't want anything from him.
One of
the
the things.
residents do.
Yeah.
Some people do. It's worth a conversation, so I know there's going to be a public hearing so people can voice their opinions, and some people are going to be for it and oppose it, but I think that it should be considered. And last thing, and I'm going to
Ms. Wells, we're past the time.
Last thing.
We are past the
There
time,
is an
Ms.
election
Wells.
coming up, as the mayor said, February 26th. If you want to see change, you need to show up.
Yeah. One of the things I wanted to say is that there's a number of restaurants in other towns, and they serve beer or liquor with sandwiches and things like that. And like I said before, two of our restaurants had liquor licenses where they did serve beer with their hamburgers and stuff like that. So, Ms. Craig.
Yes, sir. Why'd you look like that, Mayor?
You're on.
Okay. Let me say about the pouring license, I really appreciate the work that he's done or the give back that he's given to the community, but you do that when you consider and you decide to open up a business here. I don't want another pouring license. I don't want another gaming slot. Why? Because young people will be out for school. Now, I have nothing against Mr. Everett. I went in there, awesome place, glad to see it not vacant, but we sat here and listened to a presentation as you were doing me a service for opening up the business. I appreciate your business, Mr. Everett. I do, but I don't want to see gaming, another slot machine, or another pouring license. That's just me working with youth. I really am concerned with that. So that's what, for me. But I just wanted to say that it's a new year, 2019. I just wanted to say to each and every one of you, Happy New Year. And let us please start 2019 off respecting each other. As has been stated before, we don't have to agree with each other, but respect each other. And I've said it over and over again, each of you were elected to your seats. You had to go out and walk the pavement to get signatures. All I want us to do is to respect each other. You know what? It's all right for you not to like me, because I know who love me. There's a man that I've been with for over 40 years, and 6 children, and all those grandchildren. And I know that the Lord loves me. So what I wanted to say to you all, Mayor, I did bake something that was full of calories, so you said.
You know I don't need it.
Well, just take it out of the kindness of my heart, of the Creighton household. Is 7-Up cake. You can eat the whole loaf, or you can eat a tiny piece, and it won't cause you any hurt or harm. I just wanted you all to know that 2019, we must move forward. Yes, there's an election, and whoever the people vote in will be voted in. Whoever they won't vote in, you'll still be residents here in the village of Dolton. So let us start 2019 off respecting each and every one of us. Thank you. And I'm going to pass out pound cake to each of you. I baked 50 of them today.
Wow.
Tiffany don't need one.
Okay, I'd like to get a motion to adjourn.
I'd like to make
Oh, Mr.
second.
Creighton, I'm sorry.
Mr. Creighton.
Oh, Mr. Creighton.
Good evening, and Happy New Year to everybody again. Just one question. Does the village have a short-term and a long-term plan?
No. What?
Okay. Maybe that would help
Thank you,
us
Mr.
going
Creighton.
forward, and maybe help the meetings go a little smoother if everything that's on the agenda ties into a plan. So, and I think that for us to be successful, we need a plan. Okay, I think, what is that old axiom? The failure to plan is a plan to fail. We need to know what the plan is. Everybody needs to know what the plan is. So I'm just asking that as a board, you all would consider a short-term and a long-term plan. Thank you.
Can I say something, Mr. Creighton?
Yes, ma'am.
If all of us sat down together and I asked Trustee Henyard, what's her plan, what's her vision that she see for this year? If I go to Trustee Pearson and ask him the same question, Trustee Denton, the same question, Mayor Rogers, the same question, Trustee House, the same question, Trustee Stubbs, the same question, Trustee Muhammad, what is one thing that you would like to see for 2019 for us to achieve? If the head would ask us what would we like to see in our community, maybe that's a start.
Well, I think
one thing, just one thing. If it's nothing but a new tree planted.
Well, I think that I had a underlying thing for asking that question is because at some point you all have to talk and communicate together, and maybe this is one thing that you could agree on is maybe a plan. So thank you.
How's everybody doing today? Board,
Mr. Steve,
Mayor,
how you doing?
Trustees, department heads, residents. I want to make. I thought I did a service to this village by live streaming the board meetings because people can watch from home. But the madness that people see here is an embarrassment. I've heard it for people who don't live here. Hey, I watched the YouTube. I watched the village board meetings. Good Lord, it's terrible. And you don't realize all this arguing and fighting. It makes the whole village look bad. Nobody want to come and invest in the village when you see this type of madness that's going on. And I would love the trustees to answer a question. It just so happened the 3 that are up for election. I mean, AJ asked a great question, and it goes back to the mayor. What can you do? Well, if we had the mayor, everything is the mayor. Good Lord. Answer the question for yourself. And that would be a good move forward, a good way to move this village forward. So that's all I wanted to say. The world watches this on YouTube. Anybody can watch it. We average 55 to 60 people online, and all of it is not residents that they live in the village. People watch from outside of Dolton, and they look at our board meetings online, and we look terrible to the world. So I just wanted to say that.
Thank you, Mr. Steve. Beth?
Nice political speech.
I was not going to speak. But I guess what I'm doing is I'm reaching out to my friends around the world and my friends on Facebook and people that I grew up with. And I want them to know that I'm asking you to pray for me because the Lord sent me here. He sent me on an assignment to help Dolton. I'm not a reject. There was a lady that told me I was a reject today. I'm not a reject. I'm the best of the best. God sent you the best. He bought me with the price of his blood. I'm a child of the King. He put me here for a reason to help you, and I'm going to help the best of the best. And I'm here for a reason, and I'm asking my friends around the world and my people, my relatives and people I grew up to pray for me to stay strong. Amen.
All right. Okay, like the motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
It's been motion and second to adjourn. Roll call.
Trustee Muhammad?
Aye.
Trustee Stubbs?
Aye.
Trustee House?
Aye.
Trustee Denton?
Aye.
Trustee Pearson?
Aye.
Trustee Henyard?
Aye.
6 ayes, it's 9:13.
I know one thing, the next time Denton brings something in here to eat, you don't, yeah, look at that bag down there.
It's so stupid. It's calling my name over there in that little bowl you got.
Yeah. Oh, no.